Well, thank you so much for giving us a chance of joining us today.
Thanks for
We're from Cosmic Soul Music. We're an Instagram account. We also blog and do different videos and interviews with people from the music industry and in general the arts from the past decades. So can you tell us a little bit about Revisiting Creedence project? So to our followers.
Yeah, well, the two of us for many years worked for Stu Cook and Doug Clifford, the original Creedence Clearwater Revival members, original drummer and bass player. And, in 2020, we did our last shows here in Mexico City. And Stu and Doug retired. Doug had some health problems, but they mostly they're just had done it so many years. They wanted to spend time with their families, and so
COVID didn't help.
Yeah. And we were talking about we had so much fun working with Stu and Doug. Such a great gig. Great, we were talking like, man, what do you want to do when they're done? We just thought, let's just keep playing, let's keep doing it. Let's just we enjoy working together, and the set list is unbeatable. So I mean, we just thought we'll just keep doing it.
Yes.
And we're having a blast. Mm-hmm. It's been great.
That's amazing. Yeah. How was it playing in Mexico? Mexico loves Creedence.
Oh, it's always great. This was always really our biggest market. This is where most of the real deal fans are. They're
the enthusiasm. They're very excited for the music, and as we are playing it, but then to see the audience so excited to hear it. Makes it fun and easier for us.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
So how was that? You joined Doug and Stu Cook first the project and before? How was that you joined?
How did we get into it?
Yeah.
He actually played with them before I did.
Back in 2008, we had been in communication as a backup singer. If their singer, John Tristeo, were sick, I would substitute for him singing. And I did that for 8 or 9 years until 2016 when the singer retired. I took over full time. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I had... Elliot Easton from the Cars was the first guitar player when they started Creedence Clearwater Revisited in 95. When he left, Stu Cook and Doug Clifford had called me, as one of they were auditioning, I think, 4 or 5 guitar players. They called me and actually bought me a plane ticket, and then I backed out on them. So at the time I was working with Greg Raleigh, the singer from Santana and Journey, and we were just kind of getting things going, and Greg and his manager kind of talked me out of doing the Creedence gig. So I didn't. And then years later, they called me again, a few years later. And luckily, at that time, I said yes. And ended up doing the gig for about 10 years, almost 10 years.
That's amazing. Yeah. Did you ever imagine that you were going to join such an iconic band like Creedence?
Well, no. I mean,
I always wanted to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I worked for years. I played with Randy Meisner from the Eagles, and a lot of classic people. But it was funny. I met Steve Gunner, who was one of the original Creedence Clearwater Revisited members from '95. He lives close to me, and we would go to the same sushi bar, and we became friends, and that's ultimately how I got into that gig. But
and Gunnar is here with us.
We actually special treat for Mexico only.
Yeah.
We actually got Gunnar to come down with us, so he'll be at the show tomorrow. He'll be playing with us.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Because he was retired also. He retired along with Stu and Doug.
They get tired of flying and the traveling and everything, and then COVID comes and everybody's at home and they're like, I'm done. So we twisted
Yeah.
Gunner's arm to come with us. So.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
he did the gig for 25 years. He was in the Creedence Clearwater Revisiting gig, 25 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
So exciting for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so fun.
Like for the audience that doesn't know that much Creedence, we want them also to like to start listening, just like to open also to that world of these legendary bands. So, how do you feel when you listen Creedence? Like, what are, I don't know, the sensations, feelings, places that you get transported when you listen to it?
I've loved the songs. I discovered the music when I was in high school, so it was 25 years after they had been released, so they were oldies at that point. But when I got a hold of them, I just fell in love with the songs, the beats, the music, the melody, the lyrics. They're so simple when they play, but it's so great. That whole less is more theory with music, and it just went in and stuck. And I was listening to Pearl Jam and a lot of big bands at the time, but there was something about the sound and just the timing of where I discovered Creedence. And then I went to see them play in '95 when Creedence Clearwater Revisited started, and I was in the audience. And I said, okay, well, what happens if something happens to that singer? So I kind of, I love the music, and I had just started singing at the time. So to me, the songs are just, they're just so special to me. They were a time of growth, and you're a teenager when I discovered them. So I grew up with the songs, even though years later, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little older, but I had a Creedence record when I was young, very young. It was probably one of the first first records I had. So. Yeah, to me, I still remember sitting in my basement, with my headphones on, listening to Susie Q and all that. So, to play that stuff with those guys now, or, like years later, it was just, it's a little bit of a pinch me moment, it's like, but, and still, those songs are such a blast to play. Like I said, we didn't want to stop, so, yeah, it's...
Where are your favorite Creedence songs? Hard question.
It is. Lately, I think my favorites, I've kind of gone back to like Midnight Special and Bad Moon Rising. Those are two,
Great songs, yes.
Those are great because of like where we do them in the show. Like the show has been going for an hour or more, and we start to build it up with those, and they're great sing-alongs. Everybody knows them, and that helps us on stage when you look out. Everybody's singing and dancing along to it. I don't have a favorite. It's more of like when you want to play it. Obviously, Bad Moon Rising is one of them. I would go with that one.
Yeah.
Love it. Great choice. So what's your favorite guitarist all time?
That's a tough one because there's, through times I've got, of course I was in the 80s, I was really into all the kind of, like Eddie Van Halen, people like that. But then, like later years, it's kind of funny because I like guys like, a lot of the country guys like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, and like Don Rich, who was Buck Owens' guitar player. I love to listen to that stuff now. So it's hard to pinpoint in one person, but... But, on the rock side, Eddie's definitely way up there. And, a lot of those country pickers, Don Rich, he's probably one of my favorite.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen is great. I like more of a percussive, kind of well-rounded. And it depends on the mood, of course. Like, what do you want to listen to? Heavy metal or rock? I love Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac, because just the things he does with his hands and being the only guitar player in the band, having to fill so much space and play off the other, keys and everything, and he's a phenomenal singer as well.
Right.
So,
Totally.
yeah.
Love that. So is there any other band? I know you've played with really legendary bands, but is there any other band that you would like to play with?
I would love to play with Paul McCartney.
Oh my God.
Because that's, the Beatles is probably my all-time favorite band. I would love to do that gig. And actually, years ago, I got to play with Denny Lane from Paul McCartney and Wings, you know, and he was also the original singer from Moody Blues. I got to work with Denny for about 7 or 8 years, you know, toured all over with him, and we became very close friends. His daughter came over from England and would have sleepovers with my daughter, and I mean, so yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I would love to play with Paul. Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to play with Mike Patton from the band Faith No More and Mr. Bungle and Phantomas and so many other. He does everything, but he's more of a solo artist. But another band I would love to, and I will try next, is Ween. They're a band out of the Philadelphia area, and they're one of my favorites outside of Creedence. So,
Love that.
yeah.
So, if you could describe Creedence in only one word, which one would it be?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, iconic, necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from our perspective, looking out at the crowd, fun is,
Yeah.
you know, that, I mean, it's really probably, I've worked with a lot of different people, but probably this is the funnest show to play. And it's relatively simple, but it's probably the, you know, just seeing the people have the most fun at this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's multi-generational.
Yeah.
You're seeing old people and young
Yeah.
people dancing and singing and clapping and
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because young people like it, old people like it, rock and roll, you know, the rock and roll people like it, country music
Yeah,
fans like it. It's just,
yeah.
everybody loves it. You know, it's got a very wide appeal.
Yes. So we have some of our followers send some questions for you. So we'll do like a rapid fire. So what Creedence song do you like playing the most?
I mean, looking out my back door is fun. Born in the Bayou. And, you know, probably Bad Moon Rising, too. It's short and sweet.
Yeah, I like Bad Moon. Green River's fun too. I still, so many times I've played it, I still love that one.
Did Doug and Buck ever tell you something about Woodstock? There's lots of questions about that Woodstock Creedence appearance. So.
Right.
Yeah.
We mustn't tell. Yeah, they talked about it a lot. We had a lot of moments on the tour bus after shows where we wouldn't ask. They would just start talking about it. You know, something would get brought up and they, oh, yeah, that reminds us of Woodstock. And
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd just be talking about,
yeah.
laughing about things between them, but we're sitting there listening to it, taking it all in, you know.
Yeah, because
It
we
was
just
really
played
cool.
some casino in Iowa, and now they're talking about the greatest festival in the history of the world, and we're like, what if that show reminded you? But to them, that's what was cool, is that it didn't matter where they were playing. You know, they played Woodstock, they did it all, and they still enjoyed going out and doing the smaller towns and smaller shows because they got to play the music, and that's what we all enjoyed doing. So it was fun to listen to them
Talk about
tell
it,
stories.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, which one would be? It's like in general.
Like any album?
Any album.
Wow. I would say Ween's Quebec album. That's a good one. There's something on there for everybody.
Yeah, I think my brother, well, actually I have it on CD now. My brother had that original Beatles record with the red outline that it was kind of a greatest hits from like, what is it, 1962 to 66 or something like that. I always loved it. It had all of the best earlier Beatles stuff. I could listen to that over and over and over. That'd probably be my choice.
Great choices. Is there any Mexican band or artist that you like?
I don't know that I know that many.
Well, I mean, we're excited to hear the Gypsy Kings, but I don't know exactly where they're from. But I was a fan of Juan Gabriel. He covered a Creedence song.
Right,
but
that's right.
I had heard other things that he had done, and I know he was very popular here. So
And one of the guys we played with Mick played bass on that.
Mick, I think he
played
did. or
on the
something.
Juan Gabriel version of was it? Have you ever seen the radio? Yeah. One of our close buddies that we worked with
And we've heard,
played on that session.
bands for years, but we would, you don't always remember their names.
Yes. Yeah.
But you hear them through friends and other, events. But you're just like, who is that? And you just don't remember the name.
Yes, for sure. Favorite music decade?
Well, for me, probably growing up in the '80s. I mean, all my teen years was all through the '80s. So
Same for me in the '90s.
yeah.
Some great rock.
Yeah.
And they also asked if there is any plans of joining again Creedence Clearwater Revisited. If there are any chance of like.
Yeah, you never know. Doug, maybe not. I think he's probably, he's reached a point where it might be difficult for him to do.
It's been a
certain
long
things.
time.
Yeah.
Stu, you never know. I don't know. We still talk to him.
He's still very
we
adventurous.
talk to both Stu and Doug. Every so often.
Cosmo called me today, as a matter of fact.
Oh, did he?
His birthday is on Monday, and Stu's birthday is on Tuesday.
Birthdays are back to back.
So I'll see Cosmo on his birthday.
I was just texting with Stu the other day too, and
78.
Yeah, they'll both be 78. And John Fogerty will be 78 in May.
Yeah.
They were all in the same class. They started the band like in junior high. It's when they started playing together.
In a perfect world, it would be great. Obviously, we would love it. The fans would love it. I mean, it'd be a difficult thing logistically to do just because of age and sitting around for so long. I know they both want to play. But the travel.
Yeah.
I'm sure they miss it. I can't speak for them, but we loved playing with them, and we're honored to have that time with them.
Yeah.
Whether it be I was in it, he's in it 10 years, I'm in it this or that. It was a great experience, and we're grateful, and we're here today because of it.
Yes.
So,
and it's great. They were such great guys, personally to work with. Like I said, we still talk to them. They're.
Let's call them right now.
Stu's still buying more basses and stuff. He's sending us pictures of his new custom bass he just had made. He doesn't seem like a guy that's done playing.
Yeah,
he's traveling a lot, but
yeah, he's enjoying family time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything of that, and for the interview also in general. For our followers that would like to see you or follow you, can you give us where to find you, if you have any future concerts, so they can know a little bit about that?
We have the band Revisiting Creedence on Instagram. I have Danimals Planet on Instagram, and we post all that stuff on there. Facebook as well. So.
Yeah, if you make it to California, we're playing the State Fair in July, so we'll be up there. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.